Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about really all sort of kicking off from around the time that Elon Musk acquired Twitter, and the mass layoffs and recent announcements today from other social media firms like Meta and so on. The layoffs seem quite substantial. Like if you add all the layoffs from social media, it's got to be pushing 50,000 at the moment now. If you look at, say, the employees at Twitter, there was close on 11,000 employees. There's now less than 2,000. And there appears to be no difference or nothing noticeable anyway in Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, by the way, but certainly from what I can see. 8,000 or nearly 9,000 or over 9,000 workers have gone from Twitter. Plus there was various subcontractors operating in the United States and India, as I understand it anyway. So there's clearly more than 9,000 people were gone from Twitter. What did they do? What was it that each one of these people was doing? I've seen various videos that have been posted by employees that suggest that they did nothing. They sort of swanned around, purporting to be very morally superior to everyone else and stopping the Nazis and all this sort of thing. Well, they just walked around, particularly young girls, doing nothing except having their health food shake in the morning and their lunch was being supplied. If you look at just the rents on the office and the wages, and you look at the cost of putting on the canteen, the food looked like quite good food. In fact, the videos commented that young girls were saying, "Hey, the food's really good. It's fresh and it's good quality," and so on. So it seemed to be, from what I could see, though, a children's, like a kindergarten. It seemed to be like some children's playground, the way it was all set up and the behaviour. And just listening to the meetings that were recorded, whether it was Jack Dorsey or Parag Agrawal or what's the face, Vijay Gandhi and those sort of people, it all seemed to be silly little giggling children who were running that. But they lived in this bubble where they thought that was actually the normal world, that there was no world outside of that other than the world where the Nazis were. But they were a morally superior force for good. No Nazis here. So these silly little ideologically sort of conditioned children running around behaving like children and thinking that that's the way the world is. And as far as I can tell, at least they didn't have anything to do. Now, when you cut the workforce by from 11,000 plus to 2,000 or less than 2,000, then you would think that the services and many essential tasks would suddenly stop being done. I mean, that many people, but there seemed to be no difference. So we can be completely satisfied that these 9,000 plus people didn't actually have any work to do, or their work involved sending reports to each other, maybe something like that, but they're no actual productive work. And lack of productive work is certainly the hallmark of the globalist sort of universe that certainly I see everywhere. Now I see it wherever this globalist sort of thing is in action, whether it's, years ago when I went into the United Nations meeting in New York, and it was just a silly feminist playground where they all seemed like they were 12, 13 years old, the way they behaved. And I was in my mid-20s then, and I thought they acted like children, and I was still a young man with not really much work experience myself, and yet I perceived them as irresponsible children at the time. Or wherever you go now, certainly my experience with NGOs and the work in the business that I part on, the work I've done or we've done in government departments and and also organisations that are almost 100% reliant on government revenues, government orders. They're the same. There's this marked childishness and this incredible amount of jobs where people just don't seem to do anything. They've got nice titles and like assistant deputy director of the customer experience or something, or vice president of the customer experience. Think, well, holy fuck, what does that even mean? And when you talk to the people who even have the jobs, they don't even know what it means. But it sounds important. It's invariably going to be occupied by a minority person, the proverbial black lesbian and that sort of thing. Explosions in diversity, equity, and inclusion departments, and sometimes these departments are disguised. Well, we've only got a company of 10,000 people. We've only got 20 people in the diversity, equity, and inclusion department, but that's actually not true. Because many functions of that DEI are actually spread out amongst various other sections. So they've got the diversity and inclusion officers, political commissars in effect, that are in every section and department of the company. So when you actually add together the amount of DEI people in an ESG and all that, people in totality, out of 10,000, there can be 500, 600, 700 of them just doing that. And that's before you get to other time wasting roles such as the customer satisfaction director and all this sort of nonsense. But what strikes me in the public service too, definitely, is the amount of jobs where nobody actually is responsible for anything or does anything, or where there's so much padding and so many jobs created that are ostensibly there to perform some sort of function. Inevitably, when people have got nothing to do, particularly where they're hiring ideological fanatics and sociology kids that have no concept of the real world. They've come out in the world to stop Nazis. They're everywhere, and these silly young girls that they're there to stop Nazis. So, well, what's a Nazi? It's a straight white male, of course. Those are the Nazis. So their job is to fight back against the Nazis, because Nazis are in control everywhere. Everything is controlled by Nazis, with the exception of the government, the media, the public service, academia, all the think tanks and so on. Everyone's on the same side, supporting climate change and all that sort of thing. But these young girls have somehow come out of college believing that they alone are the only ones fighting against these evil Nazis. And also a view that only when black lesbians with an IQ of 80, only when they are considered to be exactly equal to everyone else, only then do we know we have social justice. When total equality of outcomes is achieved, only then do we have a paradise. And this is something, of course, can never be achieved. Therefore, paradise can never be achieved. Therefore, they have to fight against those damn Nazis instead of doing any work. But they don't have any work to do. So invariably, they spend all day attending power sessions on women's rights and how oppressed black lesbians are and how evil straight white males are and so on. You'd be surprised how often people we're having meetings with, and you can see they're getting a bit toey and they want to, what is it? Is there a problem? I mean, I have to go to my diversity and inclusion seminar that we have one of these a day, and sometimes more than one a day. And sometimes these people are spending all day just on seminars about how evil straight white men are. And your taxes, of course, are paying for this, whether it's with the government, directly being paid. Money, by the way, which is funneled directly to the NGOs that do these courses. So there's a round robin of taxpayer money, just a river of money flowing into the NGO coffers from this sort of thing. So where do these people go? Well, in a contracting economy, unless the government is massively going to subsidise it, then there's nowhere for these people to go because they've got no skills. They can't do anything. But that hasn't been an obstacle to them getting employed, previously in more buoyant times, though. But if I look at the people certainly that I come across, whenever I go to the meetings and have any interaction with people, the people that we see day to day. If it's not a straight white male, and even then, but if it's not a straight white male, then I can with 99% surety know that I'm going to be dealing with an unqualified person. Now, it can be a debate on how unqualified, but an unqualified person. And from my perspective, I don't mind if the person is minimally or unqualified. Maybe they're very bright. Maybe they're very keen on coming to grips with the situation. They're determined to become expert in the field. They're really trying hard. Their concentration is there. They're listening and they're going, okay, look, I'm not sure about this. What do you suggest? That they're really navigating their way through it as best they can with maybe their limited knowledge, but they've got this real desire to acquire knowledge and to be good and effective at their jobs. You don't get that. You get quite the opposite. Not only do you get people who are unqualified, you get people who don't give a shit. They genuinely believe that any sort of meritorious system is fascism and Nazi. So only non-meritorious systems can create the sort of equality paradise that they've been that's been hammered into them through school and through their sociology or gender studies course at college. And these people, if you look at the people that have been kicked, that have been let go from the Twitters and the Metas, I mean, there's an army of sociology kids there. That's it. I don't know if they're going to get jobs again. I'm staggered every time I sort of meet these people at the meetings we go to, the business meetings we go to. I'm constantly stunned at just how unqualified, and not just unqualified, but how snotty, how bad the attitude is, how they don't care, how they're not trying to learn or improve their capacity to do their job, the sense of entitlement. And particularly the younger girls, they just look up, straight white male, that's it, Nazi, Hitler, and that they barely make an effort to engage with you. They're so insecure that their attitude is that as soon as you walk in the door, a bunch of straight white male, you're all Hitler, every one of you, and so these people are dysfunctional and useless wherever they go. But I don't think outside of the social media, the bloated social media landscape, or the public service, or maybe the very big organisations that already, I think, have a heavy surplus of these sort of people. I don't know if these people are going anywhere to go with the attitude and work ethic that they've got. They'd be useless in any sort of area where productive work is required. So some of these people, I hope at least, could be looking at, well, no, I don't hope, I don't wish them ill, but the balance of probability is that they'll be looking at fairly long periods of unemployment, but maybe not, given the insane world we're in at the moment. If they turn up an interview, I hate straight white males. Bingo, you got the job. Maybe we've actually got to that stage, because we're not far from it. But maybe we've got to that stage, and particularly with the bigger organisations, again, the government. But again, how much fat were these organisations carrying? Why would any Twitter or any other company? Why would you carry that many, multiple thousands of people that don't do anything, that don't add any value to your company? Sure, they're social justice warriors. Sure, they're going to run around telling everyone how evil the Nazis are. They go, but in terms of a business, a commercial business, these social media companies cannot ever have been commercial businesses, ever. They must have been socio-political creations by the globalists, or upheld and supported by the globalists. Otherwise, no commercial business would carry that much fat unless someone is paying the bills somewhere else. If someone else is paying the bills, like in the public service, okay, so you carry a lot of fat. But this is a massive amount of fat. 80-90% of the staff are useless, or do nothing. And you don't carry that many staff unless someone else is paying the bills, because commercially you can't make enough money to cover that. So your sources of income must be from somewhere else that allow you to act so, in commercial terms at least, so irresponsibly. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.